for 120. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Amy Barrios. My company is Multimedia Solutions, and I'm honored to be working with the Katrina 20 group to help get some media attention to the week next week. Y'all have been doing such good work, and so I want to help as best I can to get you guys coverage next week. I am standing here with a man who needs no introduction, Norman Robinson, longtime journalist. Norman and I worked together at WDSU. I was his executive producer. And in 2014, we left the station at the same time. He left to retire. I left for new work, and we started a business together. And now Norman, he doesn't need to work as much as I do. He's retired, but we still do a lot of projects together. And anyway, to get ready for the interview. So we're going to do a little bit of media training and talk about everything from how to answer what to wear, and then also how to talk about the week next week and using the right suggested terms.
Everybody can hear us. You mind if I walk around a bit? This exercise is about being comfortable, being yourself, finding a comfort space, finding a place where you feel totally at ease. Like, as we say in New Orleans, like you're talking to your mama. Now, everybody's familiar with the phrase from William Shakespeare, "To thine own self be true." But I'm more familiar with the phrase from Brother Rabbit, and that is, no matter where you is, be who you is, because if you is being who you ain't, you isn't. Now, there's one thing about a camera. You can't lie to a camera. A camera knows when you are being fake. A camera knows when you are being nervous. A camera knows when you are unprepared. A camera knows when you don't know what the hell you're talking about. If the camera knows, the person watching the camera, the person watching the video, the person in the audience looking and listening to you knows all about you as well. Now, how you show up and present yourself tells me and the audience all we need to know about you. Know the points that you want to get across. Have 2 or 3 points in mind. Practice those points. Look in the mirror. When you get up in the morning, when you look in the mirror, are you looking at a person that you have confidence in? Do you look at yourself and say, good looking day. I'm going to have a great day. When I step out, I am going to be ready. When I show up, I am going to be ready. I'm excited about what I'm about to do. And that's where your passion comes in. Are you passionate about your subject matter? Do you really feel good about your subject matter? Is it something that you get real wound up about? Is it something that you can, as we used to say when I was a White House correspondent, is it something that you can natter about? Natter simply means, do you know your subject inside and out? Now, when you know your subject inside and out, you're automatically comfortable. There's no trepidation, no apprehension. There's no fear, there's no nervousness about your situation. You can handle anything when you are calm and composed. There's an old saying, it's an axiom, never let the bastard see you sweat. Always maintain your composure. That is your first assignment. Composure. Your comportment. Your decorum. Do you have a pleasant look about you? Do you smile? Do you acknowledge your subject matter in a friendly presentation? Do you embrace the moment with an air of pleasantry? Sometimes a smile is better than the information. I remember when the first Reagan administration took office at the White House. No matter what the message was, they always had balloons and colorful artifacts around. Because why? Visuals are what captures and captivates an audience. Was it Toni Morrison who said, I can't remember, but somebody said it was either Oprah or Toni, who said that people will often forget what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. So yes, this is about feeling, because you are selling a message, and the projection that you want to send is one of positivity, one of authoritativeness. When people see you and they hear you, they can feel comfortable that what you are saying is true. They can feel comfortable that you believe what you're saying, and it is something that they ought to take into account. Use concise language. Be plain spoken, in the sense that you're not using monograms that people are unfamiliar with. You're not using your professional jargon that relates to your particular organization. Talk in a language that people can clearly understand so that they don't have to guess about it. Remember Lieutenant General Russell Honoré? Remember when he came into town? When he rolled into town and put a stop to the chaos? What did he tell the police officers when he walked in? What he said made it clear where he stood on how they were handling the chaos. He said, put those damn guns down. Remember that? Put those damn guns down. You are here to protect the people. You are not here to intimidate. Plainly spoken. They got the message, and they put the guns down, because he reinforced that by saying, put those guns down, God damn it. I'm not going to tell you again. Now, I'm not telling y'all to go on the TV or the radio and cuss. What I'm telling you is to be plain spoken so that people understand where you are coming from. Now, don't let an interviewer or a reporter throw you off message. What are you talking about? You're talking about Katrina. You're talking about your experience during the storm, because what? You are the storm. You were, I should say we, because I was here. We are the canary in the coal mine. We are a microcosmic example of what happens when you don't manage water properly. 3/4 of the earth is covered in water, and yet, as human beings, we have not learned how to manage it, because we are always trying to control it. You are the storm. You know what happened. You know how you felt. You know how it affected your communities. You know how it affected your people. Tell your story. And don't be thrown off by some side question that has nothing to do with your story. Somebody asks you, well, what do you think about President George Bush? I said, well, he was president. He was the 44th president of the United States. That's what I think about it. But we're talking about Katrina. My focus right now is on the storm and what happened. That's called a pivot. When somebody introduces something into the conversation that has nothing to do with your interest. Your interest is getting your story out. And be personable. Talk about how you feel, not how you think the reporter wants you to represent yourself, but how you feel. What do you think that's important? You know the story. The reporter, he or she, might not know the story, probably doesn't know the story, probably doesn't give a damn about the story. And when you present your story, and you're being personable, and when you're being personable, be sincere. Watch your body language. Because our body language throws us off. Or we're saying something, but we're feeling something completely different. Don't stammer. Don't move around a lot like I'm doing now. If I was on camera, I wouldn't be moving around. I'm moving around because I want to look at y'all looking at me. Be careful of your body language. Look at the person who's talking to you, and that person happens to be a reporter. Look them, maintain eye contact with it. Don't be fidgeting. Fidgeting is a sign that you're distracted. Don't be moving about. Don't be looking around. That means that you're uncomfortable. You're not comfortable in this space. When you walk into an interview, you own the damn interview. Why? It's about you. It's about what's going on with you. And in that regard, you're confident, you're authoritative about what it is that you want to present. You're looking straight into the eye of your interviewer, and you're telling him or her, you're giving them the message that you want the people out there who will be listening to this interview. They're the primary focus. That's the people you want to contact. You want them to understand what it is that you have to say and why it's important for them to understand. So, nonverbal contact. A lot of us are dogged by this thing called nonverbal contact. Some people, I remember I was in the car with my daughter. She was about 3 years old, and her mother and I had some words earlier. She was sitting over there. That was before you couldn't sit kids in the back of the seat. I'm old, so you could sit them in the front seat of the car without getting a ticket. We were driving down the highway, and my 3-year-old looked at me and said, "Dad, you have an attitude." Oh. Attitude is that thing that gets us in trouble. You showing up for an interview, but you got an attitude. There's something that has rubbed you the wrong way, and you are projecting it. We can feel your vibes. No matter how you try to mask it, we can feel your vibes because what you are really thinking is coming through. So your body language exposes you and distracts from the message that you're trying to present. So when you walk into a room, you walk into the room with a pleasant look on your face. You walk in the room with an air of confidence. You walk into a room ready to converse and to talk about what it is that's on your mind. And on your mind is the story of the storm. Because remember, you are the storm. And that is the message you take with you. You are the storm. And they want to hear what that means. What does it mean, you are the storm? What were you feeling as you experienced Hurricane Katrina? What were you experiencing when they called us refugees? How are you feeling when people were left stranded in the Superdome? How are you left feeling when the lady was on her knees on Convention Center Boulevard pleading for help while there were bodies lying all around her? The doors to the Convention Center were locked. Guess what? There was water in there. There was water. There was refuge in there. And you knew that. How did that make you feel? How did it make you feel when you watched people on their rooftops waving white banners and sheets and pillowcases? How did it make you feel when you saw people pulling their grandparents through the floodwaters in a washtub? How did it make you feel when you saw 80% of your city underwater? How did it make you feel when you knew you couldn't go back to your house because you weren't in the right zip code? They weren't letting people back in. How did it make you feel to watch your people being portrayed on the air as third world citizens? How did that make you feel? You got a story to tell. And by all means, when you show up, dress up. I'm not talking necessarily about wearing a suit. I'm talking about having a wardrobe that is indicative of a person of quality. Because sometimes people can size you up just by what you got on. It happens all the time, and I'm talking plain. You walk into a room, you walk into the room with cut off t-shirt, holes in your pants, raggedy ass shoes. Wild looking necklace. Suspicious looking earrings.
Oh.
Come on in here, Amy. You talking to these women. I don't want to get in trouble. Amy's gonna talk to y'all about wardrobe.
You are never going to get in trouble. You know, there are certain things that are just suggestions, and then there are certain things about what looks good on you. What Norman said, you want to look like a person of quality. There are certain things like small prints can be bad because, you know, in some TVs it can start to look fuzzy, and so like a houndstooth check or like a small plaid can sometimes come across bad on TV. Big pops of color are good. Wear that pink shirt, that fuchsia shirt, or that pretty yellow shirt. Color is good. It's better than black or white. And depending on what the interview is for, what do you want to wear your work outfit? You know, does it make sense? Is this depending on what the interview is about? But really just be comfortable and be respectful. And, you know, I would say it's better to overdress than underdress, but it's really about, like Norman said, looking like a quality individual being interviewed, and that you respect yourself and you respect what you have on. And who's there?
Yeah, respecting, it's more about respecting the viewer. The viewer feels like you have put some effort into the presentation that you are about to make. And by all means, don't overtalk yourself. Be as brief as possible. 7 to 10 seconds to get your message out. Because you're comfortable with your message. You practice your message. You've looked at yourself in the mirror and said, I'm a bad, you know what? I got this. I'm ready. I'm ready for any question that's asked of me. And I know myself so well that I can sum it up in 7 to 10 seconds. When I was in radio, I had a program director who would say that if you are saying something that takes longer than 10 seconds to explain, you don't know the subject. You need an edit. If you know the talking points that you want to present, to project, being brief is not a problem. You always want to keep it simple. And I go back to that thing about jargon. Don't use industry or professional jargon, and stay away from monograms if you can. I'll give you for instance. If somebody says, how do you get to Algiers from New Orleans? You tell them, cross the G&O. Now, if they're not from here, what is that? That's the Greater New Orleans Bridge, right? Which is simple. Cross the Greater New Orleans Bridge. Plain and simple. Who monitors traffic on the interstates? You wouldn't say the LSP, would you? You'd say the Louisiana State Police. Keep it simple. Speak plainly. Don't use jargon.
Are there any questions at this point about those tips that Norman gave? That was amazing. The second part of our talk is really going to be focusing on how to get your message out next week, and some of the parts, some of the words and phrases and just the storytelling that we're hoping people will take as their own. But just as far as the general tips that we've covered so far, are there any questions at this point? We can't see the.
Yeah.
Great or just get to your point. Like you have something in your head that like.
I understand exactly. Her question is, do you have a formula in your head that helps you stay on topic? Yeah, I do. And those 3 things that I talked about at the top have 2 to 3 points that you want to make. And that's all you're thinking about during that interview. No matter what question is asked, you want to come back to those 2 or 3 points. So never forget that. That's what you have practiced. That's what you have focused on. That's all you have to think about.
We used to say in the newsroom, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to tell you what I told you, and then I'm going to tell you again. Like you were saying the same thing over and over again.
Absolutely. You tell them what you're going to tell them. You tell them that you told them what you're going to tell them. And then you tell them that you told them what you told them you were going to tell them, and that you told them.
No, he killed it. Very nice.
Don't over talk yourself. Yes, ma'am.
So I do have a question. As a person that is working in media, right now, and I know that with Katrina coming up and all the documentaries, there's a lot of questioning and concerns that are coming up. How do you see us reflecting those things and speaking in a better light and not divulging it?
Yeah, you want to know how to stay positive. And I think the question she's asking is, do I portray myself as a victim? No, you don't. You pay yourself You present yourself as someone who survived a devastating event, the worst man-made disaster in United States history. And you're a survivor, along with the city of New Orleans. In spite of what happened, you survived. You're simply talking about what happened. And you're bringing us to this point of where we are now, how we got here in spite of what happened. Amy?
Yeah, I would say, talking about when Norman talked about pivoting earlier, if they start to go down a path calling you a victim and well, you know, or they ask you something that you're like, that's off point. Well, that's a really good question, and it makes me think about this. So someone asks you a question that you don't like, that's a good point. It reminds me that I want to see this. And then you turn the conversation back to, we're not victims, we're visionaries. We're not resilient, we're resistant. And we are the storm messaging.
Yeah, we are the model for the rest of the nation. Because in many ways, what happened here woke the rest of the nation up. We got a reality check for the entire country. We were that reality check. Because remember Sandy went up the coast and hit the people on New York, New Jersey, Long Island. Remember that?
Yeah.
We were the canary in the coal mine. But we figured it out. We told the rest of the nation that this is what you have to look forward to if you don't learn and do a better job of managing water and learning how to live with Mother Nature. So that's a story you could tell with pride. We showed the rest of the nation how to do it. We showed the rest of the nation what needs to be done. And we showed the rest of the nation an example what happens if you fail to do what needs to be done. So you are speaking from a position of not only surviving, you are speaking from a position of strength. Why? Because you're still here. In spite of what happens, you are still here and ready for another battle. Why? Because you know what's at stake.
I also want to go back to the question that you had me on about how do you stay on track, and when you were like, now this is me, I'm keeping going. One thing that we suggest is what's called a pregnant pause. So a lot of times people keep talking, and when you keep talking, you say things that maybe you weren't wanting to say, or you got off topic, because now you just don't know when to stop, and you just stop talking. Make it a pregnant pause. The reporter's going to fill that space. They're going to give you pregnant pauses because they want you to fill the space. So take that power back and just stop talking.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with silence. Silence makes us nervous. It happens to me. I have to start catching myself when I hear silence, because I am initially motivated to break in to arrest the silence. Just be quiet. Give it a moment. Don't rush things. Think about what it is that you're saying, and think about what it is you need to say next. Let me tell you something about breathing. Now, I learned to relax through a breathing method that's very simple. And that is, you take a breath, you inhale through your nostrils on N. You exhale through your mouth on 1. You do that. Do that before you get ready to speak in any situation, whether it's an interview or whether you're giving a presentation to your colleagues. It's called breath control. And that has a lot to do with managing our nervousness. Remember when I said when you're calm and you're composed, you're ready for anything. When you're relaxed, after your breathing exercise, you're totally focused. How many of you ever get the feeling when you're tense that your shoulders rise up? I get that even now. I do that little breath control until my shoulders drop. Then I know I'm relaxed. Then I know I'm ready to proceed. Don't shortchange the importance of breathing. When someone pisses you off, start breathing before you respond. Take some breaths. Not only before you tell them, go tell your mom. Take some breaths, relax, and get control of the situation. How many of you have seen interviews where people are yelling and screaming and talking over each other? Who wins in a situation like that? What's being heard? What message is being conveyed besides chaos, hostility, and animalism? Take a breath. Compose yourself. That gives you time to think of an appropriate response without losing track of your message. Remember, the message you want to convey is, we are the storm. Amy?
Yeah, I agree. We hold the power, we shape the future, we are the storm. So those are some of the messages that, that we encourage you to consider putting out there when you're doing interviews. Are there any questions online? I wasn't able to pull it up, but if there are any, we can get those, or any others in here.
Are we able to see whether there were any questions from the people online?
I don't see any questions from the folks online.
Well, no questions from the people online. I guess we must be doing a pretty good job of explaining things. I hope that's the case anyway.
You are.
Thank you. So when you get out there next week, we're getting ready to wrap things up now. When you get out there next week, heading towards the anniversary, you want to prep. You want to prepare your message. You want to do some of the things that we've discussed with you. And first and foremost, you want to make sure that you are composed and ready to engage. Amy?
Practice, practice, practice. Think about your 2 to 3 points and practice them and practice them. A mock interview with a friend or family member is great. Whether it be about the event that you're at, so make sure you know everything that the event, the goals of that event, so that if someone asks you what's happening here, you can clearly explain what's happening if you're one of the organizers or if you're there. And then if it's just about your story, that's a little bit easier because your story is your story and you are the expert. And so you just have to think within, okay, what do I really want people to know about my story? And I would also encourage you, if it's easy to do and you happen to have any photographs or memorabilia from that time, when the media does interviews, we're always looking for visuals. So if you happen to have any pictures printed out or anything, like something from your house that you took, or just pictures from your neighborhood when you went back, or anything like that, that's good to bring as well.
Practice transitions, because they will try to throw you off with some question that from left field. As you're talking about your experience during the storm, they will talk about, well, what do you think about the mayor being indicted by a federal grand jury? That's another story for another time, Our focus today is on the storm. We are the storm. And we need to get our message out so that what happened here will never happen again anywhere else in this country. And speak plainly. Remember Bro Rabbit? No matter what you is, be who you is, because if you be who you ain't, you isn't. You don't matter to people when you're coming across phony. They disregard you totally. Speak plainly. Everyday language. Yes, ma'am.
I've been having this question as you're speaking, and what you just said helped me connect it a little bit more. Because this is such an emotional subject matter. And what if who you is real mad, right? But you still want to speak plainly, and I'm hearing practice. What are there ways that you can, when you're shifting yourself from an emotional space, is there a way to practice even acknowledging that this is really emotional, or that you're having an emotional moment, maybe live while speaking to the media?
No. Remember that, what I said, never give the suckers,
Yes.
never let the suckers see you sweat? No, you don't want to have an emotional moment live on the air.
It will make the news if you do. If you cry.
That will become the
it's gonna be on
story.
news.
That becomes the story.
But this is emotional, and you might not even realize how emotional it is until you do the interview. The PTSD can come back and hit you. I mean, we're about to, if we haven't already, we're about to be flooded with imagery and just
Yeah.
all the things and the incorrect reporting and all of the things that can really piss you off. And so that's where it's what Norman said about the breathing. It's to take a deep breath. And if you go in prepared with your 2 to 3 points and you don't defer to from those, that's how you would avoid that emotional moment.
And at the moment that you're feeling emotional, stop. Breathe. Pause.
You don't want to come off the.
Let silence reign. It's okay. It's okay. You see people on the air do it all the time. You know. And then proceed when you have gathered yourself together. When you recompose yourself. You reinstituted your composition. Then move forward. So,
We have a question about, I do have a question, autistic, right? So if, when you're coming through to an audience and you really want them to feel what you feel, using different words that are still communicating, I'm pissed without saying I'm pissed, right? So how would you, what kind of recommendations you have with that? Because I feel as a natural conversationalist, I want you to understand I'm disappointed. Like, I
that's
didn't
the
like.
word you use. It disappointed me to see people trapped and left stranded.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned about the fact that it took so long for the federal government to react.
Yeah.
We were left to our own devices. Words like that.
So switching the words, but still,
Yes.
so that way you're not
Yes.
feeling fake. You're still, it's what you wanted to say.
Absolutely.
Your sincere feelings are coming out, but
Yes.
in a more controlled and
It's,
close the word.
it's disturbing. It disturbed me.
Gotcha.
Rather than saying, it pissed me off.
Okay. That is not the word.
But it did piss us off.
Yes, but I'm still pissed, but I couch it very well.
We have a question online.
We have a question online? Okay, I'm listening.
The question is, can you all do a mock interview with someone today?
We do a mock interview today with someone. Sam,
Yes.
who wants to do it?
Who wants to be our subject? Who wants to be our subject in the mock interview? You're in media, come on over here.
All right, all right. All right. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all.
All right,
But I'm doing.
yes.
I'm not gonna see it, so people can see. Okay.
Can I say yes? Yes. All right. Right here.
Right.
All right.
I'm not going back to.
You might. I don't put nothing past people these days. Young lady, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for looking out for elderly people. God's gonna bless you. What is your name?
My name is
Hold your
Gab-
microphone up so.
My name is Gabrielle Edgerson. I am the Chief Executive Officer and Experience Officer, I'm sorry, at Ashé Cultural Arts Center and Marketing Director. I am also a teacher in the New Orleans community, teaching dance and just home.
Very good. You are a New Orleanian?
I am a New Orleanian. I'm born and bred from the Seven Wall, right from
What
St.
was-
Bernard and 82.
All right. What was your experience during Hurricane Katrina?
A couple of experiences. I don't know which one would sustain the most media opportunity. I graduated from New Orleans, from NOCA, in OCA, and actually went to school in Houston and couldn't get accepted into Houston's art, high school opportunity because I was from New Orleans. My mom worked with Hibernia at the time, which then got bought by Capital One. And my sister, who was younger, was able to go to a my sister was able to go to a Catholic school, and I had to go to a school that didn't really want me. And I had no pronoun on days and just kind of get through it. So I don't know what experience that you would like.
It's about your experience, remember? It's about your experience. It's about the story that you want to project, not about what I want.
We got through it. I think I want to say that. We went through a lot, but we got through it. My mom and my dad were separated, not because they wanted to be, but because my dad was trying to make sure the house was okay, and my mom was trying to make sure her babies was good.
Was the house okay?
The house was not okay, and I knew the house wasn't okay because I can't even remember his name. Jim Kimmel came to my aunt's house. 56 of us up in there. We was everywhere, but in the bathroom, cause we couldn't put a mattress in there. And I think that's a lot of stuff that people miss, is that it was so bad. And I think that people think about the Superdome a lot, but you also got to think about too, the people that was already out and trying to make sure they people straight. Trying to make sure they people okay. And I feel myself getting in my Seven Wall way right now. I'm not really speaking correctly,
But you're speaking plain.
and I think that's what people see.
That's what people want to see.
See, they don't hear it. They really don't hear it.
This is a story that needs to be told. You are the story. Thank you.
I'm sorry, y'all.
You know, you did the right thing. You did it. You handled it, sweetie.
And I think that was a perfect example. She held herself together, but this is hard. This is hard to talk about. And And, you know, we pulled her up on the spot, so she didn't have time. She didn't have time to go over her 3 points or what her main story was. But I think you saw it at the end, what that story would be. It's the people and the people who, her story is the people that were gone and the family and keeping them together and not necessarily the Superdome, but like her family and her neighborhood. And so, I mean, that right there was compelling.
Yeah, her story was about the neighborhoods and how the neighborhoods were affected, not the Superdome. The Superdome was dramatic in the sense that it was a single space. It was the fortress of the city of New Orleans, the symbolic fortress, but the pain and suffering was taking place in those neighborhoods where that young lady lived. Anything else from the people online?
I think that's a really powerful reminder for us to think ahead of time what you want your message to be and practice it. Because it's tough.
Yeah, you never know how it's going to affect you, not infect you, but affect you. Because those feelings are buried and they are going to be triggered. So practice the points that you want to project. And I'll leave you with this. Be yourself. Don't worry about speaking like you're from the 7th Ward or the 9th Ward. Be yourself. You are a human being. You can never be more than that. Thank y'all for allowing me to experience this exercise with you. And I wish you all good luck on the week heading up to the anniversary.
Thank you all. My email is on the sheet, I believe. If there's anything that I can do for you this week, next week, when it's going on, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
And if you can't get Amy, just email me.
If you can't get me, email Gabby.
Gabby?
Gabby can hook you up.
One quick point, someone asked about collective talking.
Collective talking points, there's a sheet on here. We didn't necessarily go over every talking point because you can read through them. It has the different talking points that we're suggesting and that it even has some factoids about the storm itself, which you may remember, but when you read them, you're like, oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. So I know when I read them, I was like, woof. But yeah, so check, Gabby, if not, you could send us out, but I believe everybody got it.
Also, you guys can please feel free to email me at Gabby, Gabbi, at ashenola.org, to get those talking points and anything that you need. I am happy to be your middleman with Amy because she has a lot going on and she is literally my backbone right now and helping me out. So whatever I can do to make sure I'm there with y'all, just let me know. Again, Gabbi at ashenola.org. I do want to say again, thank y'all so much.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
I don't think I knew how pivotal this would be for me.
None of us know.
Um,
None of us know.
and the way y'all made me cry.
None of us.
But thank y'all so much for your time, for your dedication, and we are so appreciative. Thank you again.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thank y'all. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank y'all so much.
You're welcome. Yes.